Look, I get it. Life's busy and making things at home feels like a total headache. But what if I told you that there's a super easy way to make delicious bone broth at home with ingredients you probably already have in your pantry? In this video, I'll show you exactly how I make delicious bone broth at home. And by the end, you'll see it's way simpler than you think. Hi, I'm Andrea, and welcome to the Grit and Grace Mom channel, where our focus is helping busy moms save time and money in the kitchen. Today, we're talking about bone broth. I don't know when you're watching this video, but as I'm recording it, it is winter, which means it is soup season. So to make a good soup, obviously you need broth, and you can make a good soup with a boxed broth, but at $3 to $4 a pop, a box of broth, that's really not a great value, and it adds up over time. Besides, boxed broths are actually kind of pretty bland. So today I'm going to be showing how I make a rich, flavorful, delicious bone broth from home for way cheaper than you can get it at the grocery store, and with ingredients you probably already have on hand. So what do we need to make delicious bone broth at home? So first up, to make bone broth, obviously you need bones. Now, I imagine you could go to a butcher and get beef bones, or you could get, chicken bones or whatever, but I like to keep it simple. So every time we get a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, we just save the bones, and I put them in one of these little Ziploc bags and then stash them in the freezer. And then whenever I want to make soup, I just pull them out. So this is what I'm going to be using today.
Now, this first step is optional, but it really does add a richness and depth of flavor. So I highly encourage that you do this. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees and then roast the bones for 45 minutes. Here are the other ingredients you're going to need to make delicious bone broth. And the good news is you probably already have these in your pantry. So you're going to need 2 carrots, 2 stalks of celery, 1 onion, 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and 1 tablespoon of black peppercorns. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop that onion. I'm going to cut it into quarters, and it's a pretty rough chop. I'm just trimming the ends here, and you don't need a real fine dice on this because it's just to add flavor to the broth. Next, I'm going to just trim the stalks of celery. I'm cutting them into some pretty big chunks because, again, we're not going to be eating these. They're just to add flavor and minerals to the broth. Same thing with the carrots. I'm just cutting the ends off. I did peel these carrots, although you don't totally have to do that. Now I am crushing the garlic. I have got 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. That's a good start. And I'm crushing it in my handy dandy garlic press. And make sure you get all of that stuff that gets stuck in the press. That still adds a lot of flavor. So I'm going to be adding all of that to the broth. Garlic is an incredible immune booster too. Now my timer's gone off, so I'm going to pull those bones out of the oven, and look at the color on those bones. That's going to add so much richness and depth of flavor. Now I'm adding the veggies to an Instant Pot. You could also do this in a crock pot or even on the stovetop, but I love the hands-off nature of the Instant Pot. Plus, it gets it done relatively quickly. All right, now I'm putting those golden brown bones in on top of the veggies. And to that pot, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This helps to draw the minerals out of the bones. And then 1 tablespoon of black peppercorns. Pepper actually brings out a certain sweetness. And now I'm adding 2 teaspoons of sea salt, and I'm going to pour in as much water as I can. I'm going to fill it to the max fill line on my Instant Pot. If you do this on the stovetop, you may have a little bit more capacity, but then you're gonna have to babysit it a little bit more. So I'm gonna fill that up to the max line, then I'll put the lid on. So now I'm going to set it to pressure cook for 1 hour and 20 minutes. And now it is done. I've released the pressure, and I'm going to very carefully lift the pot out of the Instant Pot, and then I'm going to transfer it to the sink. I've got a strainer set up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and very carefully, because it's hot, but I'm going to carefully and gently pour that broth. Look at that golden color. I can smell it so good. But we're going to strain out the bones and the veggies. and we're going to keep the broth, and it is going to be so delicious. After it's cooled off a little bit, I pour it into jars and then even store it in the freezer. We like to use it I actually use it in tonight's dinner. That's some wild rice soup. It was yummy.
So there you have it, how I make delicious bone broth at home. This broth is so rich, it's so flavorful, it's a great base for soups, stews. We use it in sauces. I sometimes even just drink it out of a mug because it's so warm and comforting, and it's almost like a snack. So definitely encourage you to try it. If you do, be forewarned, your family might be spoiled from that point forward. I once tried to make a chicken noodle soup with a box broth, and my daughter turned her nose up at it because it wasn't made with my homemade bone broth. But anyway, drop a comment down below. What are your bone broth tips? And if you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe for more recipe tutorials and tips and tricks designed to help you save time, money, and stress in the kitchen. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.